Welcome to the next episode of the Interlocking Loops Flosstube channel. It is August 25th, Sunday, 2019. I'm Angela, your host. Let's talk about finished objects. It's been a couple of weeks since we talked. I've had some time to finish up some smalls. And the first one is a Lizzie Kate Design Buzzy String. I get, for the most part, all the DMC colors that were called for. I think it turned out fairly well. And this is on Ada 14 count toffee. I yet am experimenting with a slightly different setup than I've had before. Hopefully I'm making improvements as we go. The next one that I finished was the Hands-On Design Star Spangled Swine Small. That particular pattern has 3 different charts to it. And this is what that looks like. And I stitched the small that's here. These, for the most part, are in Fancy Floss, the colors that are called for. As I bought it kitted up. So that Holstein cow is just adorable to me. Growing up where I did, our neighbors actually had Holstein dairy cattle on the next property over. So kind of brings back a little bit of nostalgia for me. That was a fun stitch, and eventually I will be stitching more pieces of that pattern as well. The fabric is 14 count chalkboard Ada. And that I didn't have too much trouble as some people have had trying to stitch with Ada. I thought it went pretty well. I did choose to do it for the most part with natural light, which I think does make all stitching a little bit easier. It was a fast stitch. A throwback to 4th of July is the Brenda Gervais With Thy Needle and Thread pattern. Holiday Hoopla, 4th of July. If you remember, it has the Whisper floss for the beard. And I did that as well. I believe that's a mohair nylon blend, which is apropos as we used to raise Angoras, which give you the mohair. So there are little bits of details I omitted. I believe the starburst, I don't know if you can see the white dots in a couple of these places. I didn't feel like it really needed that. So I went with the gold and I left those out. Coffee tea dyed Ada. I believe it's 16 count. So the other ones I have finished, one of which is going to be a gift. So on Coffee Tea Dyed Ada, Little House Needleworks, Deer Valley Inn. And while it has the inn and that at the top, I omitted that and added moved some of the embellishments a little bit to where they were. So that'll be a nice pillow. That's what I plan on using that for. And gifting that. Alright, the last finish from the last couple of weeks is another Little House Needleworks Hot Cocoa pattern. And as it's starting to get cooler here, I'm starting to think a little bit more about hot cocoa myself. So, Coffee Tea Dyed Ada again. Who doesn't love a good cup of hot cocoa? I did want to mention, I had some of the needles from Needle Case Goodies I'd ordered that have the ball tip on the end. And I did find these to be quite handy. And I do enjoy those. So check out Needle Case Goodies on Etsy for some of those if you're interested. Whips, works in progress. I've worked mainly on 2 other projects. Plum Street Samplers, spring salt boxes. And this one here, kind of like that. I'm into that aqua color. And it's still in the hoop. Here it's coming along. So, if you remember before, I didn't have near as much stuff done. I think that's coming along well. And I don't know if you can tell a little bit of variegation. This is Ada that I blotted with a tea coffee mixture and fixed that. So it has a little bit of a dapple effect to it. I believe that's a 16 count as well. So that's one that has had some good attention this month. The other one, if you remember, is one of my Stitch 9. Also one of the ones for the August 24 Hours Across Stitch Cinnamon Stars by Plum Street Samplers. Check that out. I hope that comes in clear because that is really a gorgeous pattern. And as you know, I typically do smalls, and this one is not that. I did have it in a stand-up frame, a PVC one that we made. I ended up taking that off of there because it became a little harder for me to stitch with on my lap watching television. So I've done some of the star motifs, and I've done the one side of the house. I'm hoping to get this other side done here this week. So it's coming along well. And there's a lot of different browns in there in that one, which makes it, I've got so many, and I'm doing all of it on DMC. And that's on 14 count Ada. I don't remember the exact color. I don't know that I have that. But that's coming along well. And I started that last fall. So it's an old whip for me. And I hope to get that done. Well, I'm just going to chug along on that. I don't plan on starting anything new coming up. I'm going to keep working on that particular one for most of fall, I think, to try to get it done. I'm being pulled in some different directions, though. I have a punch needle pattern of a pumpkin, and I hope to be able to get that started as well. I also I work in healthcare and work with people every day. As part of what I'm working on, I have a patient's daughter who makes these. They're a scrubby that you buy and then you crochet the edging. And she gave this one to me as I expressed kind of an interest in how do you do that and where do you get the sponges. And so I'm going to be giving it a try to make a few of these at home. So I've already purchased the sponges, and I have the crochet hooks already, and I've got a little bit of the yarn. So yeah, so that's cotton. So I don't really plan on starting a whole lot of new cross-stitch projects in the next little bit. Now that I say that, I'm going to be probably wanting to start several. I do have a few acquisitions that I have made over the last 3 weeks. From Kitten Stitcher, I purchased the first one of this particular series. So I have to, eventually I'll be completing this. I hope to make it kind of interchangeable when I display it, the final product. From Little House Needleworks, Summer ABCs. So it goes lengthwise. It's not like the strings from Lizzie Kate that go horizontal, this goes vertical. I don't know how well you can see that, but there's a lot of cute little motifs on there. Watermelon, you heard before, I'm a sucker for watermelon. I also purchased the chalk by the Gentle Art for some of those chalk patterns. And some Dapple Ada in 16 count. So it's kind of a dapple gray. I don't think the dapple's showing up very well, but it's a fairly sizable piece. At some point, I have the Glitter Village one. Hope to get all the glitter villages, and I'm considering putting those all in one on one piece of fabric. So I'm kind of testing out some of these colors to see if whether that's the color I would like to try or not. All right, I also had signed up for the Floss Club from Fat Quarter Shop, and the first one came with 6 different colors of pink. Let's see. Kind of hold those up a little bit. Here it is up against white. So those colors are, and I believe you can join at any time. Having the benefit for accuracy. Crab cakes. Ladybug. Cherry tomato, which looks a little pinker than the cherry tomatoes I know of, but it's still absolutely beautiful color. And going from darker to lighter, here's persimmon. It's a pretty corally pink. Then we have blushing beauty and cobbled peach. So blushing beauty's here to give you a little bit of contrast. Cobbled peach is here. So there is some difference. There's more variegation, it looks like, in the blushing beauty, but they're all very pretty colors. So, all right, let's see. From Luminous Fiber Arts, I was able to catch an update with Misty again. This time I managed to snag the Ada I was looking for. 16 count fat quarter in the midnight. And that's Luminous Fiber Arts on Etsy. And this one is another gray fat half, Anita, 18 count, Fabric Color Whisper. So this is a more fairly solid gray as opposed to the dapple I held up earlier. And my first purchase from Jen's Stitching Niche was a chart I've been looking for. Book number 39, The Prairie Schooler Farmer's Market. Check out those vegetables, will ya? Won't those make nice, cute little pillows to have in a display? So when I saw that, I had to grab that. And I've also purchased a Halloween 2019 Special Collector's Issue from Just Cross Stitch. As you can tell, I already have some things marked that I would like to try. So I think the Christmas one is available for pre-order from several places. So if this is something you're interested in, I would go check it out right away. I'll be doing that soon as well. And I don't remember if I showed this one last time or not. This one's from Quilting Grandma Elkin.etsy, QUILTINGGRIMALKIN.etsy.com. I don't know if you saw these on Instagram. I love the check. I love the blueberries. So, nice vinyl front. Those are my acquisitions. I'll tell you a little bit about family stuff that's been going on. So, you know, end of the summer, I've got 2 kids in college. One just finished his 4-year degree in May and is off to grad school. So a week ago Friday, so less than 10 days ago already, we were packing his stuff up to take part of it in a U-Haul down to University of Memphis in Memphis, Tennessee for grad school. For me, that seems like a long way for him to go, but it's in a program that he's interested in, and that's made all the difference. He has 2 roommates that they're getting along well. But in preparation for doing that, you know, he doesn't have furniture, those kind of things. We ended up donating our washer and dryer, but also our living room furniture, a couch and a love seat, and the rug that goes with it. So the funny thing about, you know, your couches, it's time that, you know, about the time you want to give those away, it's time to clean underneath the cushions again. And in doing so, I found some DMC. I'm not even sure what project it was from. I may never know, but I thought that was funny. I found that, and I found a stitch marker for knitting. Otherwise, we found about 30 pens and pencils. So that was funny. He got down there. He got moved down there. Everything is fine. He started working as he's a TA for the professor. His classes actually start on Tuesday. So it's, I think, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday classes for him. And I think he's working at least 4 hours Monday through Friday every day. So he's excited. Seems like things are going along really well. So that's wonderful. My daughter, my husband took her caravan up with her for her stuff. It's the first time sharing an apartment on campus with 3 other girls that she already knew. And she was quite excited about that. And they got her moved up, and we're hoping, I'm trying to time this Flosstube just right so that we can eat supper, and then hopefully the kids will call. Oftentimes they call about Sunday night to kind of let us know how things are going. So got my fingers crossed. The other thing that's kind of disrupted my stitching time this week, and was another reason to take Cinnamon Stars out of its big frame that I had it on, we adopted a kitten. So I've been calling the little one Pumpkin, and you'll see why here in a second. Come here. Come here. So this is Pumpkin. Can you say hi to the camera? Doesn't understand what Mommy wants you to do. Yeah. So it's about a 6-week-old kitten. I follow a greenhouse that's not too far away, about a 30-minute drive, on Facebook, and they happened to put a picture up asking for names for the kittens. My question wasn't giving one a name. Mine was more, is any of those adoptable? And for those of you that have been kind of following along, in the last year and a half, we've lost 2 house cats, and our Great Dane passed away about 6 weeks ago. We have another dog that's older. He's 16, and we're still babying him along quite a bit. And I have another house cat who, she's 10 to 12. She's not thinking this new Yipper is really, I'm watching the kitten play with the cord for recording. She doesn't seem to think this kitten is all that great of a big deal. The dog thinks it's fine. So we have a dog kennel that the cat so far kind of stays in with our supervision when we're home. When we're gone, until everybody gets kind of settled, we're keeping it in that. There's a litter box, there's bedding in there for it to sleep, and of course food and water. But so far it's going along pretty well. Our older cat's kind of coming around, and I'll be able to get this one to the vet here in another 10 days or so for its initial shots and whatever needs to happen that way. We haven't had a kitten in probably 8 years, and I know the vet will have some different vaccinations and things it needs. But so far things are going pretty well. We haven't had a cat that has much for claws. Of course, this little one has all its claws. But it's adorable. I was kind of looking for a cat that was kind of a dark orange for quite some time, and thinking that would be, you know, if this cat lives as long as our last one, I may be close to 70 by the time something old age may get this cat, that this may be the last animal I may be adopting as far as a house pet. So I wanted to get for sure exactly what I wanted, and I think little Pumpkin fits the bill. So that's what's been going on. If you see Instagram, I think I've put up a picture. I've started a sweater for my daughter, the Soldotna crop, and I consider Pumpkin my new yarn manager, and he happened to fall asleep on my lap at the time when I was casting on that sweater. So that's kind of how things have been going along here. As you see, I have a little bit of fall, starting to have a little bit of sunflower fall decoration coming up, and there'll be more of that to come. And today we're kind of having unusual weather for Iowa in August. I think the high was supposed to be 72. I'm not even sure it made it that warm, and it's kind of threatening to rain. There's a nice breeze. We could open up the windows, turn off all the air conditioning, but it's really kind of unusual to have weather this cool so soon. I did make some yard sauce, a Priscilla and Chelsea's recipe, and I did that today, and I'm in the process of, that's in the freezer freezing as we speak. So until we meet again, happy stitching. Bye-bye.